Welcome back to Gustav's Republic, guys. Today, we're gonna talk about Sigmund Freud Civilization and its discontents. So, currently, I'm reading this book and I'm finding it very thought provoking and very interesting. So, at this chapter, he's talking more about the sexual frustrations of the civilized and modern way of living in our society currently. He's talking more about that we need sexual relationships between a large amounts of people and two people, because if you have a third party coming in, it will ruin the relationship. And then he's also speaking about a very interesting concept when he's speaking about the Christian concept about loving your neighbor like you will love yourself. And then Freud is saying, actually, you have to deserve my love. I'm not gonna love anyone who's not deserving my love. Because he's saying, by saying that you love your neighbor like you love yourself, you're actually putting strangers above your friends and your close family. I mean, your close family and your close friends, which have not given you value and have deserved your love. Because love is something that you have to deserve over a long period of time. It's not just something that you give away like this, because that will give you injustice to the people that actually deserve it. In life, you have to deserve things. If you think about Charlie Munger, he said, the world is not crazy enough for people to get things that who does not deserve it. And I totally agree with this. That makes me think about, yeah, this chapter when he's saying that my love is prized and I'm not giving it away to someone who doesn't deserve it. I think that's very interesting, and it's something that you can really spin on. And yeah, it's very, very interesting. Next, he's speaking about human beings in a civilized body, that we are not such gentle creatures that we think we are. People are literally taking advantage of each other and will kill, lie, and take advantage of people for doing their work for them. But they're more indirect than direct in their attacks and manipulations. Before, perhaps, the tribe leader would just kill everyone else who was an opponent or a threat. But now, in the civilized body, people are using more indirect strategies to take advantage of other people and using them. But on the outside, it looks like they are caring about you and loving you, but they're not. So what he's saying is also humu humini lupus. Man is a wolf to man. And I think that's interesting as well. So people are literally taking advantage of each other as sexual objects, aggression, literally using people to exploiting their aggression on, and take possession of his goods, humiliate him, cause pain to him, and torture him. So we're saying like to take away aggression from man, because we're in the civilized way, we're not expressing our aggression as we used before. So we're expressing it in different ways now in the civilized and the civilization we're living in currently. And I think that's quite interesting, because we think about the primitive way of living, where you were not as you were more aggressive directly, and in the civilized way we're more aggressive indirectly, because civilization has put every effort in to suppress and limit man's aggressiveness. But it's not that easy, because the man will just suppress his aggressiveness and put it out in different ways than before. So you're saying you suppress something, actually you're just building it up, and this man will suppress it, and when you suppress something for long enough, what will happen? It will explode and it will overrun. So it's not that easy to just say you can suppress something and it will just stop. No, it will just build up, and it will explode. And now he's also speaking about communism and capitalism. So he's saying if people like communism, if you take away property from man and everyone just owns the same, then it will stop all aggression. But he's saying that the aggression is what actually forms the basis of all affectionate and loving relationships between human beings, is the aggression between the genders. Because that's what makes the sexual appeal and the sexual interest. Without that, there is no sexual appeal at all. Um, and it's very hard for people to give away of their aggression because that will not make them happy. And that's the challenge of the modern civilization and the aggression that we so have inside of us. Um, and then he's also talking about if you bind people together by love of a common enemy, by love of fighting against this common enemy. That's what I'm saying. Then it's more easy than just finding commonalities in different ways. So he's saying it's actually this that connects people together is to find a common enemy to have an outlet for your aggression. So what he's talking about is that we have such a great outlet and great sacrifices on man's sexuality and aggressivity. And that's why so many men are not happy in the modern society. And then he's speaking about why the primitive man was actually more happy because he could live out his urges. But then he's saying that he didn't really have security because another man could come up and kill him and take everything away from him, and animals and the surroundings. So the civilized man actually sacrificed his happiness and urges in order to get more security long term. That's what he's doing. But the primitive man lived shorter, took more risks, but could potentially die because he had less security than the civilized man. So we're literally giving up our happiness for security so we can live longer. Potentially. It's just potentially. And then he's also saying it's a big contrast between the top people and the bottom people. So of course the tribe leader could fulfill all his urges and desires and aggressiveness because he was the top leader. So he can have many sexual partners and live out his aggression and sexual satisfaction. Whereas the majority of people could not because they didn't have the resources or the status to be able to fulfill all their sexual gratifications and desires as the top people could. And what's quite interesting here is that I'm seeing um, quite similar views in modern society. We're seeing the top people can fulfill their urges and live more happily because they have the resources and the status to be able to do so. So what I'm thinking is that we're just primitive men in a civilized body. And what's keeping us together? It's just a thin line. So that was about that for that chapter. And I thought it was pretty interesting to think about and about just the sexual desires and how we're living in modern civilization. What's actually keeping us together and what's actually the bonds between people. Because if you remove everything and make everything secure, now you're actually less happy. You're actually a less happy person by suppressing. You just need another outlet instead. So yeah, it was a very interesting chapter. Let me know what you think about this and if you have any thoughts on this subject about suppression and the desires and sexual energy of the modern civilization. It's a very interesting book, and I'm gonna make more videos about this book because I'm not done yet. And it's a small book, but it's so much content and so deep reflections and ideas you can go so deep into. So I'm not making justice for just this chapter, but it was a great first video. And let me know more what you want to see and if you like Sigmund Freud, if you have read him before. And yeah, nice first video. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.